for no one. No one but me.
We dance to the drums of war, and all our hearts beat as one.
The meta has well and truly settled now. I've got a clear idea of the decks that are dominating the meta at the moment in the Guardians of Expansion patch 2.7 meta. It's safe to say we're seeing a lot of the same decks over and over. Which decks are truly being used the most right now? This video will show you how to use these popular decks while they're dominating the meta and cover in detail how to counter them if you experience them. This is Most Popular Decks patch 2.7. The data presented here is analysed by BomberTV using MOBA analytics. He's a Masters tier player with a background in game theory and game design. He took the most winning archetypes into Master tier, excluding ones with small play rates, analysed their key properties on why they are so strong. Link to his channel is in a pinned comment and in the card above. Please remember to like and subscribe and turn on the bell notifications too. So let's dive in. This is Noxus Shurima Aggro and features cards from both Noxus and Shurima. It's very aggressive with a huge 30 cards costing 3 or less mana. The champions in this deck are Azir, Draven and Darius, and it's very budget with 24 commons and only 1 epic card needed. This deck is just straight up aggro. We're running the best of the best aggressive units. So ideally you want to start the game with Legion Saboteur or the new Junekeeper. Legion Saboteur has 2 damage and deals 1 to enemy nexus on attack, and Junekeeper also has 2 damage on himself and summons a Sand Soldier on summon, and this could provide up to another 2 damage. Then follow up with Legion Grenadier, or double up on 1-drops. So Grenadier obviously has 3 damage and deals 1 on death to the opponent. So the trend must be quite apparent here. You're basically really just trying to chip away damage at your opponent's nexus. Getting Azir is crucial on turn 3, as it can put so much pressure on your opponent. Azir can keep obviously summoning Sand Soldiers, who deal 1 damage to the enemy's nexus on attack, so just really good continued burn here. Shurima now shines bright with one of the best burn spells in the game, Ruinous Path. This obviously draws 1, and if you've slain a unit this round, drains 2 from the enemy nexus, so once again some fantastic value here to keep chipping away at the opposing nexus. Later on you have lots of burn cards, so think Decimate or Nox and Favor. Decimate deals 4 to opposing nexus and Nox and Favor deals 3 to an ally to deal 3 to anything. You can target the opponent's nexus with this too, so overall it really kind of contributes to a really aggressive deck, and even though it feels quite repetitive, you're going to be climbing the ranks quickly with this one. Noxus Shurima Aggro is currently dominating the meta. We're seeing lots of aggro versions of Shurima decks pop up right now, and this is the variant that is kind of working the best with the traditional Noxus aggro decks that have obviously been in the meta for God knows how long. When new players try new decks after an expansion is released, aggro decks typically thrive, so I'll be interested to see if in a few patches if this is still the case. The best deck to counter Noxus Shurima aggro is actually Thresh Nasus. You can constantly remove their threats while being more aggressive, and on your turn it does not matter if your units die, because then you hit them with the bigger potential burn cards. The Atrocity, basically the biggest burn card there is right now. This is Thresh Nasus, features cards mostly from the Shadow Isles, with a large number of cards also appearing from the Shurima region. It's a bit of a control aggro hybrid, if that even makes sense. It has a lot of low costing cards, but the win condition is more controlled focused. It's a medium budget deck with 3 epic cards needed. The idea behind this deck is to play aggressively in the early game, often winning just from pure aggro, and you also have lots of low cost followers to help with this, and they can deal big damage quick, so think Backeye Reaper or Ravenous Butcher for example. Alternatively, you can try and finish the game much later with a high powered Nasus and Atrocity. So Nasus gains 1/1 every time you slay a unit, giving him lots of potential power, and Atrocity deals damage to anything really, including opponent's nexus, equal to a unit that you sacrificed power, and this can be a win condition in a lot of occasions. The deck essentially plays out like the They Who Endure deck, so those who are familiar with that deck, it's a very easy kind of play style here. You're just kind of replacing They Who Endure with a big Nasus. Since Nasus is our win condition, we want to cheat him out and get him as fast as possible on the field, and that's where Thresh comes into play, helping us get Nasus onto the board quickly with his leveled up effect, which summons an attacking champion from your deck the first time a leveled up Thresh attacks. To help Nasus get lots of power, so many cards in this deck involve killing your own units to contribute to the slay tally. So this includes units like Blighted Caretaker and spells like Rite of the Calling, which both involve killing one of your own units. You also have lots of ways to draw, both for refueling fuel, which an aggro deck needs because they're going to be using lots of cards quickly that die, as well as getting your combo out faster. So these drawing cards include cards like Spirit Leech or Glimpse Beyond, which also have effects that involve killing your own units. So once again, supporting that slay total as well as helping kind of fuel the aggro engine. Thresh Nasus is one of the best decks from the latest expansion. It had a slow and actually very steady climb to the top of the meta, but it's retaining the top spots very nicely right now. Lots of you are asking about this deck pre-patch 2.7, and the truth is its win rate only spiked with the post-expansion. It was kind of a popular deck before, but not actually one that had a good win rate, whereas that's obviously changed now because it's dominating the meta. Personally, I love the fact of control that this is doing well, as the meta is dominated by aggro decks, so it's just nice having a different playstyle. It may sound crazy, but actually the best decks to counter Thresh Nasus are Scargrounds decks, either with Sejuani and Thrain, or Braum Vladimir. Both of them have Frostbaits, which are essential to counter Nasus the Atrocity combo. If you Frostbite Nasus when you're about to do Atrocity on him, it's going to do 0, so you have massive counter. Sejuani Swain is a bit more control-like. You're basically trying to stabilise, remove, and finish off the game with the usual Swain Leviathan combo. This is a really nice approach to take. Another good deck to combo is Braum and Vladimir, as you basically go wide with lots of units and big power thanks to Scargrounds. And it can also help you heal outside of lethal thanks to Vladimir. You're going to be draining your Nexus healths up so that simply the Thresh Atrocity combo cannot finish your Nexus off. And you can find a more detailed version of this deck linked in the description. This is Irelia Azir and features cards mostly from Iona with a good amount of Shurima cards too. It's a fairly standard mix of followers and spells. Like many aggro decks, most of the cards have a low mana cost, with a huge number of cards costing 1 or 2 mana. It's actually fairly budget to build as well, with not a single epic card needed. This deck is super aggressive. The main idea is to summon lots of units, go wide, meaning lots of units on the board basically, and attack as many times as possible. Azir and Emperor's DS have the effect to summon a Sand Soldier on attack, so if you have both cards on the field, you're going to get 2 Sand Soldiers with every attack you do. Absolutely insane value. There's been a new keyword added to the game, Blade Stance. Blade Stance starts a free attack with that many summoned blades, and in separate attack phase, a bit like Scouts. Lots of unit cards revolve around this mechanic, including Ribbon Dancer and Blossoming Blade in this deck. The Sand Soldiers from Azir and Empress Diaz effect will also be summoned on these Blade Dance attacks, meaning you're going to get a very wide board with lots of pressure. Cards like Sparring Student and Green Grey Duo both have effects that gain power when other units are summoned, meaning you can quickly build them up into threats each round with obviously all the blades that are being summoned, all the Sand Soldiers, and meaning you're going to have a really wide board with big power units too. Combining all the Blade Dance combos with all the Sand Soldier attacks means you can have pretty explosive attacks starting from as early as turn 3, often levelling up Azir or Irelia by turn 4. This means you can access their leveled up effects super quick and close the game nice and early. Another win condition is via Aspiring Marshal, which basically triples the threat of Blades and Sand Soldiers. So Inspiring Marshal has the effect of granting 2 damage to summoned allies the turn you play it. This means a Blade and Sand Soldier has an extra 2 damage just off the back like that. And you're going to be summoning a lot of these, so this is going to quickly add up. Azir Irelia is currently dominating the meta, there's no question about that. One part of me likes this as Irelia brings new hope for Iona, which is a region that we've not really seen over the last couple of months, and it's nice seeing it back in a competitive scene. It actually hasn't been this dominant in the meta since beta, which was well over a year ago now. On the other hand, the deck is just a little bit broken right now, so I'd expect some sort of nerf to come soon, but the question is, how much is it going to get nerfed? This deck's pretty hard to counter, to be honest. The best 2 options are using variants of Fiora, even combining her with Feylord, Shurima, or even Targon. By using Fiora, you can take advantage of all the blades and Sand Soldiers that your opponent's going to be attacking with, and use this to help level up Fiora very early, often not letting your opponent be able to play Blade Dance cards because they're scared that one of these blades is actually going to lead to Fiora basically killing 4 opposing units and winning the game for them. So basically you can really get them scared to actually use what the deck obviously Azir Irelia thrives for. Another counter to Azir Irelia, ironically, are burn decks, and the most effective of them right now is Noxus Shurima Aggro, which ironically features Azir once again. With this burn deck, you're looking to simply be more aggressive than your opponent and beat them over the finish line. You're going to be out trying to aggressive them. You can find a more detailed version of this deck in basically on how to counter them, and BomberTV's done these, and you can find it in the card above. And there we go, guys. This has been a really strange patch where basically 3 decks have completely run the show. We've never seen this before, where legit a trio of decks have had the best win rates, dominated the meta, and are the most popular. Normally there's a little bit of variance in this kind of list. You maybe see one deck reoccurring, but that's about it. Hopefully this sorts itself out next balance changes. Who is your new favourite champion? I would love to hear in the comments. Up next will be top 10 decks patch 2.8, taking a look at the decks with the highest win rates after the new patch arrives. The data presented here is analysed by BomberTV using MOBA Analytics. He's a Masters tier player with a background in game theory and game design. He took the most winning archetypes into Master tier, excluding ones with small play rates, analysed their key properties on why they are so strong. Link to his channel is in a pinned comment and in the card above. I've recently set up an Instagram account, @LawGuides, and I'll be doing a giveaway shortly. Please follow this account for see posts about new videos, and will be in a chance of winning this giveaway. Please remember to like and subscribe, and turn on bell notifications too. See you next time, guys.